娘，你不是想要我的人头吗？给我来拿！
In the age of war, the feudal lords fought non-stop. The most powerful Yan and Zhao countries were at war. They started to kill each other since the ancestors of the previous generation. They fought non-stop. The soldiers and the people became the sacrifice of the war. Princess of Yan, Yan Fei'er. Although she is the princess of a country, she is kind and considerate to the soldiers. Do you have a family? I will tell him. His father is the bravest warrior. But he didn't expect that today's battle would be the last battle of his father, who has been through hundreds of battles. The king of Yan was shot and could no longer fight. But the war has begun. There is no commander-in-chief in the capital. Today, who can replace the position of the commander-in-chief? In the future, he will be the master of Yan. Yan Huba is the nephew of the king of Yan. He should be the best choice, but the arrangement of the king of Yan made him disappointed. Murong Xuehu helped me to put the flag of Yan on the head of the Zhao army. The king of Yan knew that Murong Xuehu was good at martial arts. The king of Zhao was not his opponent, but this time the power of Yan has been transferred. I'm afraid there will be a bloodbath in the kingdom. The king of Yan knew that he had little time. After he left Murong Xuehu, he immediately summoned Yan Fei'er and made arrangements for his funeral. When he comes back, give him Fei'er Yan town. Let him take care of our Yan and you. The old king of Yan believed in his own vision. Murong Xuehu was upright and upright. He was invincible with a long knife. He was a beast on the battlefield. The Zhao army was soon beaten by him. But not everyone was satisfied with the arrangement of the king of Yan. Yan Huba was born into the royal family. He was the only son of the young generation of the family. He had long coveted the throne. When the king of Yan was lost, he passed the throne to Murong Xuehu. When he comes back, he will be the new king of Yan. Yan Huba could not accept this fact. He tried to persuade the king of Yan to make himself the heir, but the king of Yan refused. The two soon had a fierce dispute. Yan Huba was upright and upright, but his heart was not right. The heart of Sima Zhao was already weak. He took advantage of the king of Yan's inconvenience to attack him behind his back. The poor old king of Yan was a great leader. In the end, he was killed by his own nephew. He died in silence. After the king of Yan passed away, the whole country was sad. His daughter, Yan Fei'er, put her father's flying sword in the hall of the ancestors. After the ceremony, the old minister, Tang Bo Chang, read the testamentary edict of the king of Yan. Before the king went on the expedition, Tang told the old minister that this trip was unexpected. The throne was given to Murong Xuehu. At the beginning of this speech, a group of Yan Huba people immediately stood up and raised questions. They claimed that Murong Xuehu was just an orphan adopted by the king. He did not have royal blood. It was impossible for an unknown outsider to manage the country of Yan. At the same time, they also tried to incite Murong Xuehu. The leaders of the two groups stood up for each other. At the same time, the sword was drawn. The country of Yan was about to fall into civil war. Yan Huba pushed and stopped. He also raised doubts about the authenticity of the testamentary edict. The situation was about to lose control. Yan Fei'er stood up and said, "The king has decided to give me the sword of Yan. He wants to pass the throne to the princess." Murong Xuehu's words immediately turned the situation around. The princess is a close relative of the king of Yan. She has the sword of Yan in her hand. It is justified for her to inherit the throne. Yan Fei'er did not have time to decline. Yan Huba raised questions again. This time, Yan Fei'er's weakness was hit. He can take care of the injured soldiers, but he has to go to war to kill the enemy. He never thought about it before, but the sword had to be put on the rope. Yan Fei'er drew the sword and swore. From today on, he began to accept military training. He wants to rush into battle before the next war. At the beginning of this speech, Yan Huba and others had nothing to say. Although he was not reconciled, he could only kowtow.
To deal with a woman who did not know martial arts, it was much easier for Yan Hubao than to deal with Murong Xuehu. Murong Xuehu was willing to give up the throne. He was willing to assist the princess from then on and help her realize her oath. Murong Xuehu began to teach Yan Fei'er various military skills in person. Fumu fighting mainly trains his balance ability. Strengthening the charge mainly improves his riding speed and ability to survive on the battlefield. Swordsmanship, wrestling, melee fighting. Murong Xuehu strictly required every training. He had no desire for the princess at all. The reason why Murong Xuehu is so strict is actually a kind of protection for Yan Fei'er. When he was just brought to Yan by the king of Yan, he and Yan Fei'er were childhood sweethearts. But due to his identity, Murong Xuehu has never been willing to express his feelings. Instead, he chose to treat Yan Fei'er as a sister. But now they have all grown up, and the affection buried in the heart has begun to stir again. After a period of training, Yan Fei'er's military ability has greatly improved and is especially good at riding and shooting. But a 100-point disciple is not Murong Xuehu's style. His disciple must be 120 points. This is too slow, too weak. Hit him 1,000 times. The princess's growth speed is surprising and at the same time makes Yan Huba unable to sit still. He found the assassins of the Winged clan and decided to assassinate the princess. The assassins took advantage of the princess's sudden attack, but they didn't expect that after the training, the princess could deal with more than a few assassins. He quickly got rid of the assassin's entanglement and ran into the forest to escape. But these assassins of the Winged clan didn't ride a horse, but their tracking skills were very good and kept shooting poison arrows at the princess. The pursuit from the forest attracted the attention of a villager. Obviously, the villagers are very familiar with this area. He soon began to use various mechanisms to stop the Winged clan assassins. The princess was about to fall into danger. At a critical moment, the villagers actually had one last mechanism. The villagers rescued the princess to their home, pulled out the poison arrow, and began to heal the princess. The princess is missing. The villagers are very anxious, but Yan Huba thinks that this is just an illusion that the princess is self-conscious and unable to complete the military training. Everyone knows that this is impossible, but the princess is not here and he can't explain it for her. In the end, Teng Bochang decided to let Murong Xuehu bring people to find the princess to prove her innocence. Not long after, Yan Fei woke up from a coma. He slowly got out of bed and began to think about the room where he lived.
It looks messy here. There were a lot of herbs in the room. On the table, there was a map of the city defense of each country. He took the knife on the table and walked outside the house. He found that everything here was strange. Someone had turned many tall trees into a strange shape. He couldn't see what it was for. At this moment, "Who are you? I saved you. You were poisoned." Yan Fei's face was hard to believe. He ignored the villager's persuasion and turned around to leave. But before he could take 2 steps, he suddenly fainted and was unconscious. "If you call this home again, I'll send you to your next destination." The villagers didn't blame him, but continued to take care of him and told him that he could leave at any time. "What's your name?" "Duan Lan Quan." At night, it was time to change the medicine for Yan Fei. But to change the medicine, he had to take off his clothes and show his back. Yan Fei refused to do anything. He took the medicine in Duan Lan Quan's hand and took it back to his room. He put the medicine aside and fell asleep lying on the bed. But not long after, the wound on his back began to occur. It hurt and itched, but Yan Fei couldn't get the wound. He could only scream and scream. Without a choice, Yan Fei took the medicine and went to Duan Lan Quan. This time, he took off his clothes and showed his back. Duan Lan Quan was also scared. Unexpectedly, the woman changed her face so fast. "Close your eyes. Don't look. Close your eyes." "Why don't you change the medicine?" "Close your eyes." Duan Lan Quan was dealing with the woman and accelerating the action on his hand. He changed the medicine in a while. Although the whole process was very embarrassing, it quickly narrowed the distance between the two. After the killer succeeded, he went back and reported the news that the princess was poisoned to Yan Huba. Yan Huba thought that the princess was poisoned and died, so he immediately took people to the temple. The princess was missing. It was the best chance for him to take power and usurp the throne. He told everyone that Yan Fei was not missing, but wanted to express his plan to give up the throne in this way. If Yan Fei really can't keep his promise, I, Yan, will appoint another king.
When Yan Fei woke up in the morning, he couldn't find Duan Lanquan, but he found a note he had left in advance. "Eat as much as you can. Is this edible?" Yan Fei took a bite. Sure enough, it really can't be eaten. Faced with Duan Lanquan's concern, he could only say that he was not too hungry. Duan Lanquan didn't care either. He took out a novel little thing and told him that this thing could make him finish the medicine himself. He would no longer trouble Duan Lanquan and gave him a strange name called Bu Chu Haoren. Duan Lanquan seems to always have new tricks. He also invited Yan Fei to see the queen with him. Queen? It turned out that the queen in Duan Lanquan's mouth was actually the queen. She wasn't here to play. The medicine she applied to Yan Fei's wound was made by combining this rare honey and her herbs. The two of them armed and began to pick honey. Yan Fei tasted a bite of honey. It was sweet and delicious. At the same time, he asked himself to try picking honey. But he didn't expect that just when he was about to reach the peak, he suddenly slipped and picked honey into a hole. A large amount of yellow honey immediately came out. The honey was not picked. The two of them were seriously injured. Yan Fei no longer wanted to eat the meal cooked by Duan Lanquan. He cooked porridge himself. After Duan Lanquan tasted it, he praised his cooking. The two of them talked while eating. They talked about Duan Lanquan's background. It turned out that his parents all died in the war. Now he was alone in the wilderness. Speaking of parents, Yan Fei also thought of his father who had just passed away. Duan Lanquan asked him why he was a soldier. He hesitated for a moment and did not directly say his identity as the Princess of Yan. Instead, he said that in the troubled times, only by holding a weapon can we protect our country. Speaking of the war, Duan Lanquan was very anxious and did not want to mention his past. The topic was interrupted. The two of them went back to their rooms to rest. Murong Xuehu took the troops looking for the princess and went deeper into the jungle. He found a long-lost weapon. At the same time, Duan Lanquan was showing Yan Fei his ultimate treasure, the sky lantern. This is a sky lantern that can fly. He found an herb that can be used as a fuel. When the sky lantern is ready, light the herb at the bottom and the sky lantern can fly to the sky. Such a wonderful idea shocked Yan Fei. As long as you hold the blue sky and white clouds in your hand, it will really become your name, Yan Fei. It seems like what he said is true. Yan Fei even wanted to try it himself. He gradually developed a strange habit, but Duan Lanquan suddenly told him that his wound had healed and he could leave. At night, Duan Lanquan packed up Yan Fei's suit and brought him the medicine he needed and the little thing called the good-for-nothing. He could see that he didn't want Yan Fei to leave either. But due to his bad words, he didn't say much and hurried back to rest. But Yan Fei couldn't sleep. He walked out of the room and saw Duan Lanquan introducing him to the sky lantern during the day. He wanted to stay and sit with him on the sky lantern and touch the blue sky and white clouds together to become a happy swallow. But he knew that all this was impossible. He thought Duan Lanquan was the master of the country, and his love for Yan Fei was his only hope. He came to Duan Lanquan and lay on his back with Yan Fei. The next day, the sun hadn't risen yet, and Yan Fei had already packed up his suit. He didn't wake Duan Lanquan up and left alone. "Yan Fei, can I give you a ride?" The two of them rode on a horse through the woods, mountains, and lakes, and finally arrived at a small river. It was a long journey, but they finally parted. At dusk, Yan Fei told Duan Lanquan that he must get the sky lantern ready as soon as possible and take the sky lantern to Yan State to find him. The two of them were full of tenderness. At this time, Murong Xuehu also arrived with his army. Yan Fei happily introduced Duan Lanquan to Murong Xuehu, but Duan Lanquan knew that he was the master, but he kept frowning and refused to take the sky lantern to Yan State to find Yan Fei. Yan Fei thought the two of them were different in status and left with the army in disappointment. Just when they were halfway to Yan State, a horse suddenly came and reported that the Zhao army was suppressed. As there was no commander, Yan State suffered heavy losses. After hearing this, Murong Xuehu hurried back to Yan State. But when they arrived at the front line of the camp, they heard a disturbing news. Murong Xuehu didn't want to argue with Yan Huba, but immediately asked about the current situation. This time, Zhao State sent 10,000 soldiers to suppress the army, while Teng Bochang only sent 2,000 soldiers. The two armies were weak, not to mention that Yan Huba was watching from behind. The situation was very dangerous. Murong Xuehu was in a hurry and decided to send news to Zhao State that the princess was leading the army. At that time, Zhao State would definitely treat the princess as a target. They could set a trap and hit Zhao State without hesitation. The next day, the two armies were in front of the camp. According to King Zhao, he immediately made the whole army angry. He really regarded Yan Fei as the main target.
Whoever caught him would be rewarded with 1,000 taels of gold. Zhao State had many people and led the army to attack first. The battle was fierce. 10,000 people rushed in like a tide. Under the leadership of Murong Xuehu, Yan State was calm and resolute to respond. After the bow and arrow opened, 2,000 soldiers also charged in front of Zhao State. The 10,000 people of Zhao State soon surrounded the 2,000 people of Yan State into the water. King Zhao found that the princess ran away alone and immediately led his cavalry to chase her. He didn't know what to do and chased the princess into the forest. At this time, King Zhao suddenly found the princess who was alone. He was eager to make a contribution and chased her alone, but he fell into the trap set by Yan State. The cavalry that followed was also surrounded by Chang Mao army. The two troops immediately fell into a bitter battle. Murong Xuehu was surprised to find that Yan Fei could resist the prince of Zhao State alone and didn't even fall down. At this time, King Zhao just crawled out of the trap. Murong Xuehu tried to cut him with a knife, but was stopped by Yan Fei. Who knew that the father and son of King Zhao were eager to die? And the answer of Yan Fei was unexpected. Murong Xuehu knew that this was the return of the tiger. Although he was worried, he didn't stop him. He respected the princess's idea. The father and son of King Zhao returned to their camp with shock and confusion. At this time, all the soldiers of Yan State, including Yan Fei, were watching whether King Zhao would lead the army to attack again. As King Zhao gave the order to withdraw troops, all the soldiers of Yan State couldn't resist and cheered up. Yan Fei was also shocked. He didn't know whether his ideal of counterattack could be realized or not, but the fact told him that he did the right thing. The first thing Yan Fei did when he returned to his country was to remove all the soldiers of Yan Huba and expelled the culprit Yan Huba. But he didn't expect that his father would bring him an irreparable disaster. He didn't kill the princess but was expelled instead. Yan Huba was very angry. He made people develop a kind of poison without antidote. A war was inevitable. At this time, Yan State was discussing the coronation ceremony of the princess, but the country was in crisis. Yan Fei's mind had long flown to Duanlan Quan. Murong Xuehu could see his mind. He told Yan Fei that Duanlan Quan was not a shadow in the forest, but a warrior who once made the world scared, because the warrior killed people like a ma.
10 years ago, he was wiped out by 10 countries. After that, he became a taboo in each country. Duanlan Quan was the last warrior in the world. Yan Fei didn't feel dangerous. Instead, he felt that it was destined. He and Duanlan Quan could meet because of fate. He decided to give up the throne to pursue his own happiness. The next day, when Yan Fei issued the edict to give the throne to Murong Xuehu, the whole country was shocked. From now on, Yan Fei will no longer ask about state affairs. God bless the country. When Yan Fei left the capital alone, he saw Murong Xuehu, who had been waiting for Yan Fei for a long time. Murong Xuehu adored Yan Fei for a lifetime, but never expressed his heart. Now he feels it's too late. Until he saw Yan Fei die, he couldn't say what he wanted to say. This will be his lifelong regret. Yan Fei ran all the way and finally arrived before the skylight was about to rise. Yan Fei and Duanlan Quan flew into the sky, and their dream came true. The two of them took the skylight and wandered in the sky. They touched the blue sky and white clouds and became a pair of happy swallows. But when the two of them fell asleep, something big happened to Yan. Yan Huba took his uncle out of the city. This means he will lead the army to besiege the city next. The civil war in Yan broke out. Murong Xuehu was shocked and realized what would happen in the future. He rode a horse to the limb outside the city and crossed the river. He came back to the place where he found Shuoyue's sword. Murong Xuehu and Duanlongquan met in the river. Murong Xuehu asked Duanlongquan to take out the ability to protect Xianbei, otherwise he would take Xianbei away. Until the two of them stood still, Murong Xuehu said his real purpose. The civil war in Yan was coming. At that time, the war would also break out here. He came this time to inform Duanlongquan to leave here with Xianbei as soon as possible and go as far as possible. Murong Xuehu's guess was right. Before he came back, Xianbei had taken people to attack the capital and besieged old Chen Tengbochang. Xianbei was proud to sit on the throne of Yan Lord. When nightfall came, Murong Xuehu returned to the city, but he found no guards on the city wall and no one on the street. At that time, when Murong Xuehu saw what Xianbei had left was Tengbochang's head, he was so scared that he rushed to the city gate as fast as he could. This is the trick of Yan Huba. As soon as Murong Xuehu came close, he shot him as fast as he could. As soon as the army moved, a lot of shield soldiers blocked Murong Xuehu's front. He was surprised to see that it was his subordinate.
His subordinate gave Xianbei's sword to Murong Xuehu and told him that the disbanded troops were waiting for him outside the city. His subordinates tried to cover Murong Xuehu, but suddenly closed the city gate. "Be careful, close the city gate." Only a dozen people couldn't stop Yan Huba's troops. But these soldiers blocked the city gate with their own bodies and fought for time for Murong Xuehu to escape. The country is in trouble. Some people can't escape. Duanlongquan told Xianbei that Murong Xuehu brought General Murong came to see me today. Who was here? He asked me to take you away immediately. I promised him. Something might happen. At the same time, there was a crisis outside the hut. Yan Huba sent assassins. Until the assassins climbed to the roof, Duanlongquan and Yan Huba realized the danger. He took out the blade and stood with the assassins. Xianbei also took a bow and started to shoot the enemies outside the hut. Duanlongquan was shot by a poisonous arrow when he was covering Xianbei, but he didn't make a sound and continued to rush to the enemies. A killer suddenly jumped behind Xianbei. Xianbei was in a hurry and almost fell off the bridge. As soon as the army moved, Duanlongquan threw the blade in his hand and hit the killer. When he ran to Xianbei, his back was hit by 2 darts. He finally killed all the killers. Xianbei was also saved, but Duanlongquan was in a very bad condition. Duanlongquan knew that he was dead, but Xianbei didn't know that this was their last farewell. At the same time, Murong Xuehu found the brothers, but he found that there was no army. There were only dozens of injured soldiers. He couldn't take the injured brothers to die. So Murong Xuehu disbanded everyone and returned to the capital. He wanted to avenge the dead brothers with his own strength. Murong Xuehu's long blade was so impressive that he turned his body and got off the horse. He actually fought the cavalry with infantry. He cut through a batch of war horses and fell another batch of horses on the ground. Several soldiers rushed up and were killed by him. Xianbei knew that even if Murong Xuehu was brave, he couldn't resist his soldiers. It was just a matter of time before he fell. Even so, he still had to. When Murong Xuehu was struggling, Murong Xuehu pulled the arrow and looked at Xianbei as if he were a dead man. He felt that Murong Xuehu had used up his strength and dared to take the initiative to challenge him. Murong Xuehu, although Murong Xuehu was full of wounds and blood, he fought with blood and became braver. He was attacked by hundreds of people, but he didn't fall. When he was fighting, there was a smile on his face. He didn't know how long he had been fighting. Everyone thought that this tiger was exhausted. At that time, Princess Xianbei came running and saw him stop attacking and rush into the crowd and came to Murong Xuehu's side. Xianbei's arrival gave Murong Xuehu more fighting spirit, but in the current situation, one more person joining is one more death. But Yan Huba still wanted to kill people. He told the two that Yan Wang was killed by him. When the two heard this news, they were furious. Xianbei decided to challenge Yan Huba alone. The arrogant Yan Huba didn't allow others to attack. He planned to kill Xianbei himself.
Yan Huba is the warrior of Xianbei. No matter how good Xianbei is, he is still a girl. His strength and speed were all at a disadvantage. After several rounds, Fei'er of Yan was defeated, and he was also defeated by Yan Huba. The rebel general Yan Huba was killed by Princess Xianbei. The remaining rebels put down their weapons and surrendered. Seeing Fei'er of Yan had grown up like this, Murong Xuehu was relieved and fell asleep. And when Fei'er of Yan ran back to the hut, he saw the cold corpse of Duan Lanquen. Sad, Fei'er of Yan lit the skylight again. He put the corpse of Duan Lanquen into the skylight and put on the armor of the warrior of Xuehu for him. He watched the skylight fly to the clouds and finally disappeared in the distant sky. After Fei'er of Yan returned to Yan, he put the weapon of Murong Xuehu in the hall of Yan and announced to the world that from now on, Yan will no longer wage war and live in peace with the other 9 countries. His second half of life did only one thing, that is to create a world without war for the people of Yan.